Hey, movie lovers, this is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Pod Nation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history and, of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Pod Nation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Pod Nation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/podnationpods.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with taste elevation. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Kevman, and Mike.
Here we go. Star Wars with the little guy. Da-da, little troublemaker. There he is, Darth Freeloader.
Pudgy legs. Always got the pudgy legs now. Always got pudgy legs. Hello, pudgy legs.
Very cute.
Hi. You want to say something?
He said,
Here you go.
"Step
honey.
on the
I guess
street."
he's doing the show with you. Bye, Nolan.
Bye, Nolan. Everyone said bye,
Enjoy the
Nolan.
cucumbers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you guys. Love you.
Bye. It's funny. All right. So I've already started the recording. I figured let's record the little guy in his Darth Freeloader costume. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation. Tonight's a very special episode. We're celebrating the upcoming Star Wars Day 2025, but we're doing it a little bit different this year, where we are talking not about Star Wars itself, but about possibly arguably the greatest parody of Star Wars ever. As Mike shows us his Support Your Troops t-shirt with a picture of the Stormtroopers. Kev's got his Stormtrooper shirt on. I have a Stormtrooper shirt on too. Mine is the Stormtroopers having lunch on the beam above the construction of the Death Star to play on the old Rockefeller Center photo of the guys eating lunch on the girder.
Yet it reminds me of the scene from Clerks where Randall is arguing with Dante about the contract workers on the Death Star when it gets blown up.
You think the average Stormtrooper knows how to install a toilet main? So yes, but we are not talking about
getting themselves involved in. There's politics that go into this.
As a roofer, I think with my heart. So we're not talking about Clerks tonight, though. We are talking about Spaceballs. Spaceballs? Oh shit! There goes the planet. That's right. We are doing a Star Wars special this year, where we're looking at the arguably, as I said, the greatest parody of Star Wars ever, Spaceballs. Once again, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, number one pop culture podcast on Good Pods, and the number one beer podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, the Schwartz is strong, and the drinks are stronger. Definitely when you hear what I'm drinking tonight. Today, we're warping to ludicrous speed as we dive into Spaceballs, Mel Brooks' epic quest to boldly spoof where no spoof has spoofed before. It's got everything. Helmet hair, merchandising gags, and a half-man, half-dog who's his own best friend. We're cracking open cold ones and hot takes on the galaxy's funniest sci-fi farce. So buckle up, grab your can of Perrier sparkling air, and prepare for a Spaceballs to the wall good time.
Buckle this.
Buckle
Ludicrous
this.
speed. Go.
Even in the future, nothing fucking works.
We're going too fast there. We got to slow down first.
My brains are going into my feet.
Don't forget, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of our family because we are now part of the Pod Nation Media Network on Roku. Or you can subscribe to our Substack newsletter, the Films and Fermentation Substack. We are an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members only content. That's right. For a $1 donation, Mike will help you get your Schwartz untwisted.
Yes, I will use it. I will use a twister wheel and make you the right spots and untwist your Schwartz.
Go to patreon.com/films and fermentation or purchase our merchandise at teespring.com or text us at 904-867-4466. We got a quick shout out to Good Morning Earth at WKMURA Diopod on X, who it's Radio Pod, WKMU Radio Pod on X, who recently
That's a lot of
followed
letters.
us. I just started drinking. That's a lot of fucking vowels. Who recently followed us and reposted a review that we received on Podchaser from the Underground of Promoters, who gave our recent soundtrack episode a very favorable review. You can check that out at podchaser.com. What are we drinking tonight? Gentlemen, I've been dying to tell you my drink, so I'm going to go first tonight. So I themed my drink. I have a Spaceballs themed alcoholic beverage. It is called Ludicrous Speed. It is consisting of gin. For that, I'm using Bombay Sapphire, blue curacao, and a third very special ingredient, overproofed rum.
Oh.
So for this, I'm using a Jamaican rum that this woman my dad used to work with gave him this when she came back from Jamaica as a gift. It's called Ray and Nephew, guaranteed full strength overproof rum. When I say overproof, I mean 63% alcohol by volume, which means it is almost 130 proof.
Wow.
That is
You
the
working
third
tomorrow?
ingredient. Yes. I am working tomorrow. I'm working tomorrow. So
Are you sure?
Here's my drink. I put it in a tiki glass. I don't know why. I just felt like it. Let's give it a try and see how it tastes. Smooth.
What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken?
Oh my God, that's smooth. That's really good.
Natalie, no one saw you playing with your dolls.
Yeah. Oh God, damn. This is an unlicensed wall.
With the exception of the blue curacao, is there anything that gives it any flavor? I mean, aside from the alcohol.
So I've had that
There's no
overproof rum
mixer?
before. That overproof rum is good. Like if you just feel like getting drunk, you just take a couple shots of it, and you wake up 3 days from now. So it's so powerful that it destroys any taste buds you have. So you really don't need a taste for it. It's just
Okay.
It's just tomorrow I'm just gonna have a rough day. So why don't you guys go next?
Bunch of Ed puzzles, ladies and gentlemen. I'll go. I have. I know that we're dropping on May 5th, May 6th.
Whatever next Tuesday is.
Whatever next Tuesday is. I believe that's May 6th. That might be my brother's birthday.
May 6th.
Okay. Close enough to May 5th, otherwise known as Cinco de Mayo. So I am getting my margarita on in my Preston and Steve class. So this is
Preston and Steve, not a sponsor.
No, not a sponsor of the show, just a favorite radio show of mine. It's Jose Cuervo Silver, and I believe it's the Jose Cuervo mixer.
Michael, what do you got going on?
I've got a nice fancy Cape May IPA. All I got going on tonight, guys. 6.3 volume. I've had a rough week. I have not had time to do shit. I barely got the film history done today. Like an hour before the show. So yeah, I didn't have time to try to figure out something.
What's the beer? You said it's an IPA. What's the name of the?
It's Cape May. Cape May Brewing.
Oh,
Is it crab one? The one with the crab on the cover?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I've had that before. It's not bad. Yeah,
it's very good.
All right. Speaking of the of Mike's film facts.
What?
I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
Yeah, my cup of holding. So.
Oh, okay.
Holding.
Keep it cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Mike's film history facts.
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
In 1939, FDR becomes the first United States president to premiere on TV when NBC RCA television broadcasts the opening of the 1939 New York World's Fair.
Yeah, I was sick that day. I don't remember that broadcast.
The president's on. He's on every one channel.
5 homes got to see it that day.
Yeah,
all that was on.
It's like, change the channel. What channel? There's only channel 1. What's the next one I got to show?
In 1941, Citizen Kane, directed by Orson Welles, as starring himself, George Cotton and Dorothy Cumbergore, premieres at the Palace Theater in New York City.
Yes.
Rosebud. You know, I've tried. I have to watch this movie, and I just either need a lot of coffee or I have to have just woken up because I fade, man. I get to a certain point where he's taking over newspapers and I'm fading.
I tell you, like, I've only watched it once, and I kind of watched it to say that I watched it because so many people have ranked this as like the greatest movie
number one movie ever made.
I still think it's number 1 on the AFI list of like greatest movies of all time. And so like I watched it because I wanted to say that, hey, I saw the greatest movie of all time. And I'm like, it's a good movie. Orson Welles is amazing in it. Probably should have won an Oscar for it. But, you know, I feel like 80 some years later, 90 years later, like you can say there's probably better movies at this point now. You know, like Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, Ernest goes to
jail.
Jail.
Hudson Hawk.
Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter.
Any of the Medea movies.
Medea, Halloween 2. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I think all of them.
hey, don't forget, you know, Eddie Murphy and Dr. Dolittle.
I was going to say Eddie Murphy and Norbit.
Or
good.
Oh. What was I going to say? Robert Downey Jr. and Dr. Dolittle.
All righty, moving on. Now that we've shit all over the legacy of Citizen Kane.
Yes, in 1946, The Postman Always Rings Twice, film based on the novel by James M. Cain, directed by Tay Garnett and starring Lana Turner and John Garfield, is released.
Again, my pre-1960 movie knowledge is not complete, so not one that I've seen.
I'll say this. The postman never rings in my neighborhood. I'm lucky if he can just get it in the mailbox. He's a little bitter. He reminds me of the mailman in Funny Farm. You know, the one that always...
Where he drives down real fast and just tosses it. The only way I know that my mailman has been here is because he walks across my lawn speaking loudly on his phone, on speaker. Yeah, he doesn't walk around the driveway. He walks across my lawn to get to the next house.
So that's why I don't have to worry about it. Mine just drives down, stops, throws the stuff in the box, and drives to the next box.
You got one of those mailmen that every mailman wishes he could be, the guy in the car all day.
Yep.
What's the next one you got, sir?
In 1997, Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, starring Mike Myers and Elizabeth Hurley, is released.
It was a good enough movie. It's campy. It's, you know.
I make you horny, baby. I make you horny.
$1 million.
$1 million.
I can watch it now and I'd still laugh. It's you know, not taking home any Oscars. It's just funny.
Like a lot of people, I didn't see this in the theater because it was like such a weird movie to be released. But I remember I was up late one night trying to write a paper for college, and this was on, and so I just had to watch this instead of write my paper. Kind of glad I did. My favorite part of this movie
looks like a giant Johnson.
My favorite part of this movie is when he and Scott are at the father-son therapy session, and he gives them the whole backstory on his life, which is a completely ad-lib monologue from Mike Myers. At the age of 12, a Zoroastrian named Vienna ritualistically shaved my testicles.
It was quite stimulating.
You ever had a shorn scrotum, gentlemen? It's breathtaking. And it's Carrie Fisher in that scene too, playing the therapist. Oh God, what's the next one you got there, sir?
In 1999, The Mummy, film directed by Steven Sommers, starring Brandon Fraser, Rachel Weisz, and John Hannon, premieres in the U.S.
Great movie. One of my all-time favorite. I guess you call it a horror movie. It's not a horror movie, but you know, it's got the horror. It's got the monster, the mummy, the monster. Really well done, funny, action-packed. Rachel Weisz.
Yes.
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz.
I don't know what this one symbol is. What does it look like? A bird, a stork.
It's like this is where the Universal when they were trying to do the Universal Monster Universe. This is where it should have started with this mummy.
Oh yeah.
This was a good mummy, and I'm looking at 1999. Man, I could have sworn it was earlier than that in the 90s. I didn't think it was that late, but next one, sir.
2000, Gladiator, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix, premieres in LA. Best Picture 2001. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Also, best actor.
Entertained.
What we do in life echoes for eternity. I am Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Only took him 24 years to make a sequel.
Yeah, it was okay.
Anybody see the sequel?
Yeah, it was okay.
Was it okay?
Yeah, Denzel Washington was the best part of it. He was really good in it. The rest of it was like
not Pedro Pascal.
Not Pedro Pascal. I mean, he was good, but it was kind of like the Viper character from Game of Thrones, but in Rome. We have some movies celebrating anniversaries this week, the week of May 1st through May 7th. It's the 20th anniversary of one of our favorite comedy sci-fi films, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Who cares?
So long and thanks for all the fish.
No one really cares.
Yeah. It's the 50th anniversary of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, starring Jack Nicholson, and the 75th anniversary of Sunset Boulevard.
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr.
Yes, ready for my close-up. All right, so that is our week facts for this week here. Let's move on to some beer news.
Kevin is here. He's here for beer. He's got news. It's beer news with Kevin.
I'm not going to dig into this too much because we gentlemen can appreciate a good hard cider, hard apple cider. While Anheuser-Busch is bringing back the Busch Light apple beer. Anheuser-Busch is confirming for a limited time the return of the viral Bapple. After 3 years of fans begging for the return of the product, the brewing company has finally delivered, and here's what we know.
Who are these fans begging for its return? Because it wasn't me.
Well, you know what it is they take the apples, they feed it to the Clydesdales, then when they piss it all out, they sell it as
They put it in a bottle and sell it.
Got a hint of apple.
Hint of apple, ladies and gentlemen. Apple with natural carbonation. A lot of head.
The rumors are true. Anheuser-Busch confirmed on Tuesday that its viral sensation Busch Light Apple will be back in stores in May. For the first time since 2022, that's welcome news to the legions of diehard fans who have been appealing to St. Louis-based beer maker to bring the apple-flavored lager back to stores for the past 3 years. Before Busch Light Apple was taken off the shelves, our fans chased down the trucks to get their hands on it. Kristen Stowe, head of marketing at Busch Family and Natural Family and Anheuser-Busch, said in a statement to Fast Company. They created Facebook groups with thousands of members to mourn the loss of their favorite beer. The Reddit threads became a new home for those looking to connect with others who missed the signature sweet taste of Busch Light Apple. In recent weeks, people have taken to social media to share that they've apparently found early release cans of Busch Light Apple on shelves or video of the beer on assembly lines. Such posts have typically sparked large numbers of comments from fans asking where the beer can be located. It's a bit tricky to unpeel what exactly kicked off the rumor.
No, you were right about unpeel.
That babble, as fans call it, might be revived this year. However, in mid-March, a user on the X platform shared a photo that said he was from a December 2024 Anheuser-Busch meeting, indicating a return of the fan favorite beverage. That photo was subsequently shared widely across various social media platforms. To be fair, fans were hoping it would be a sign of good things to come as far back as October when Busch Beer celebrated National Apple Day with a photo of a bushel of beer and apples on Instagram. 1 in every 3 comments on Busch Light's social posts is from fans urging us to bring back Busch Light Apple, and we've read every single one, Stowe added in the statement. But the good news...
All 4 letters.
comes news that might disappoint. The company promises that Bapple will only be available while supplies last and urges fans to stock up. Boy, is that really trying to push the market. That said, Busch tells Fast Company that fans can expect to see the beers in stores all summer long. And there's a lot more that goes into it, but I think we're fine with what we have. You can visit the Busch website and put in your zip code, and they'll be able to tell you which retailers will be carrying the Bapple or the Busch Light Apple beer for you if you so choose.
You could brew it at home and just eat a couple of apples yourself and take a piss into a bottle.
You could, but who has time to brew at home? All right, gentlemen. Deputies in Santa Clara Valley, I believe this is California.
It's not California, it's Florida. It's one or the other.
Women detained after stealing beer and resisted being handcuffed. A woman was detained after stealing beer from Sprouts Farmers Market and then resisting being handcuffed by the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff's Station deputy. According to the station officials, Sergeant Johnny Gillespie arrived on the scene off Magic Mountain Parkway to investigate a possible use of force incident between the deputy and the suspect. He said he was investigating whether there was use of force and if there was, how much of it was used. The suspect allegedly stole beer from Sprouts and appeared to be heavily intoxicated when deputies made contact with her, said Deputy Wheatcroft at the scene. Both Gillespie and Wheatcroft would be seen speaking to the suspect in the back of the patrol vehicle. At the time of the story's publication, the incident was still being investigated at the scene. So more to come in later beer news and other issues of the podcast. Dun, dun, dun.
This just in, I don't know how many of these ludicrous speeds I can drink tonight, but I know how much it takes me to start feeling buzzed.
I'm watching you, man. You're doing little circles in your chair like you're spinning.
Yeah, it should go real well. Mike, it looks like you have a must-try beer craft destination for us this evening.
Yeah, must-try beer from the white beer section of our 1001 must-try beers before you die. This is a Chaser Weissbier Hefetrus from Germany. It was first brewed in 1764. Has an ABV of 5.5. The tasting notes are in the glass. This and Chaser Weissbier Hefetrus is cloudy orange with a lively, firm, large white head. The aroma is somewhat spicy, but otherwise fairly standard for a Weiss beer. On the palate, it has a pleasantly fruity, malty taste and finishes with a slightly bitter note.
Have you tried this?
I have not that particular brand.
That's why it's one you gotta try before you die. I wish we had like smell-o-vision so you guys could just smell this drink. It's like flames on the side of my face.
Out of my face.
I may actually need to add like Sprite or something to that.
I was saying, man, it needs a mixer. I can't believe it's all that alcohol.
Well,
it needs like a little bit of something to cut
Jesus. Did you want to try putting it on like the paint on your walls and see if it starts to peel?
I could try it during the break here. So our main segment. What's you saying, Mike?
Put some ginger ale in there during the break.
Yeah, I could do something. So our main segment tonight, we are looking at the greatest spoof of Star Wars of all time, Spaceballs. Here's a little trailer in case you have no idea what Spaceballs is.
The air shield, 10,000 years of fresh air. Must get through that air shield.
We will, sir. Once we kidnap the princess, we can force her father, King Roland, to give us the combination to the air shield, thereby destroying planet Druidia and saving planet Spaceball.
Everybody got that?
Spaceballs, the movie.
Princess Vespa spaceship within range, sir. Good.
What's going on? It's either the 4th of July or someone's trying to kill us.
Now we will show her who is in charge of this galaxy.
If you do not give me the combination to the air shield, Dr. Slotkin will give your daughter back her old nose.
No! Only one man and his trusted companion can save planet Druidia from disaster.
Okay, Eagle 5, coming in.
Lone Star.
First, they must learn the secrets of yogurt.
Yogurt? I am the keeper of a greater magic.
The Force?
No, the Schwartz.
Avoid capture on a distant planet.
Come up to comb the desert, you hear me? Comb the desert! Found anything yet? We ain't found.
Battle the entire Spaceball army.
My hair! He shot my hair!
Holy! And escape the clutches of Dark Helmet.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine. Abandon ship. Proceed to escape pods.
What the hell's the matter with this seatbelt?
Ah! When does this happen in the movie?
Give me bomb!
Spaceballs, the movie.
How do I know you're not making faces at me under that thing?
That's our show tonight, folks. Thank you for joining.
Great movie, but I have to say, 80s trailer suck.
Especially
because
that
there's just it's so bad.
All right, so that was the trailer for Spaceballs, as Kevin said, one of those awful 80s trailers. See, Mike, I'm paying attention. So while the trailer was playing, I ran to the fridge and grabbed a Sprite so I could cut my drink a little bit. So I downgraded from a ludicrous speed to a ridiculous speed. And got a little bit of Sprite in my drink now, so hopefully I don't pass out before the end of the show.
He's gone to plaid.
Getting there. So again, we are talking about the seminal 1987 classic Spaceballs. According to IMDb, here is your synopsis. A star pilot for hire and his trusty sidekick must come to the rescue of a princess and save planet Druidia from the clutches of the evil Spaceballs.
Funny, she doesn't look Jewish.
Doesn't look Jewish. Yeah, I don't know if that synopsis would make me want to watch this, though, if I've never seen it before. If you take off the planet Druidia part, it actually sounds like basically any like space opera that's ever been made. Yeah, it sounds like that too. Before we get to my synopsis that I wrote for it, why don't we look at the stats, which are underneath that there. According to Rotten Tomatoes, this received a 52% critic score and an 83% viewer score. Not shocked by that at all.
I'm shocked about the critic score being that low.
I'm not. This does not sound like a critic darling movie, you know. Unless you're somebody who's just like a critic who's a fan of Mel Brooks to begin with. Like, I don't think
if you like camp, you're good.
No, I'm talking viewer, the viewership. The viewer
83%, that makes sense to me.
That'd be a little higher.
I don't know. I mean, there are people who don't find Mel Brooks funny. There are people who are not Star Wars or sci-fi fans or whatever.
Well, Adrian doesn't find Mel Brooks that funny, but she loves Spaceballs.
This is my wife's favorite Mel Brooks movie, and she doesn't even like Star Wars.
Shame on her.
It's a 7.1 out of 10 on the IMDb rating. And here are a couple of reviews from that I called from Rotten Tomatoes. On the positive side, this is from Rich. He's a viewer who posted a review on Rotten Tomatoes. Unquestionably the greatest movie of all time. He definitely gave it a good rating. And Terry Lawson of the Dayton Daily News said, "It is with a great deal of pleasure that I inform you that Spaceballs is twice as funny as the title, and that it is funny from blast off to splashdown." And then, of course, I always have to pull out some negative comments too, just for the hell of it. So let's look at the critic one first.
Just that we're unbiased.
Yeah, just so we're unbiased. Malcolm Johnson of the Hartford Courant writes, 3 problems rob Spaceball of its intended zany bounce. Spotty writing, slack direction, and some second-rate casting. Whew, he's really down on. Yeah, he's down on John Candy and Bill Pullman, and come on, man.
Rick Moranis.
So the viewer review on Rotten Tomatoes from Tiago was actually in Portuguese. I had to translate it into English.
Jesus.
But this is what the review said. Cool movie. The script is nice. The movie parodies movies like Star Wars as the main parody, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Alien, Planet of the Apes. The movie also makes use of the fourth wall, which is good in the movie. There was a good scene where they parodied their own movie that wasn't even released, and even selling things from the movie itself, like dolls and toys from the movie. The bad thing about the movie is that it focused too much on Star Wars instead of making several parodies. With all this, I recommend this movie 1 star out of 5.
What?
I recommend with 1 star out of 5.
I don't think Tiago knows how the star system works. And also, he talked about all the movies that they parodied and then said they didn't parody enough movies. So there's that. The movie stars Bill Pullman, John Candy, Mel Brooks, Rick Moranis, Daphne Zuniga, and voice work from Joan Rivers and Dom DeLuise, as well as cameos from John Hurt and Michael Winslow. Written and directed by Mel Brooks, with special effects provided by George Lucas and the ILM Studios. It had a $22.7 million budget and grossed $38 million worldwide. The number 1 movie, for contrast, in 1987 was Beverly Hills Cop 2. Spaceballs finished number 24 at the box office that year, between Blind Date at 23, a much-forgotten Bruce Willis movie, and Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home at 25. That's the one about the space whales.
Hey, that's not the one with God, at least.
No, it's not the one with God. That came out a couple years later. So that is just a little bit of a background on the film. Let's take a look at my synopsis now, and I gave you guys a copy of it, so feel free to jump in if I forgot anything. Like I said, I rewatched this the other night, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, shit, I forgot that. So I was adding things in, and then eventually I got lazy and just started like writing really short notes.
Stop looking at your synopsis as soon as we got to page 17.
So I rewatched this on BBC America, where the movie was so edited, it was like actually a half hour shorter.
Oh, Jesus.
Like with commercials. So, opening crawl. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, ... If you can read this, you don't need glasses. Q, Spaceball 1, the galaxy's largest ship. Compensation?
Probably.
Planet Spaceball is running out of air because plot. President Screw, played by Mel Brooks, is in charge, which is like electing a used car salesman to run NASA. Ironic. That's what Kevin said he looked like in that photo I showed you guys earlier.
Yes.
Enter Dark Helmet, played by Rick Moranis, half Darth Vader, half insecure man-child with asthma. His helmet is bigger than his evil plans. Compensation? Meanwhile, on the peaceful planet Druidia, Princess Vespa, played by Daphne Zuniga, is fleeing her wedding because her groom has the charisma of room temperature jello.
I always thought Daphne Zuniga looked like my cousin Mary Kate.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Does anybody know who plays Prince Valium?
Oh, that's Monroe.
Monroe, yeah. Jim J. Bullock from Too Close for Comfort.
Too Close for Comfort, yeah.
Yeah. Vespa brings along Dot Matrix, a C-3PO knockoff with Joan Rivers' voice, and zero patience for male stupidity. She's captured by a bunch of assholes. Keep firing, assholes.
I knew it. I was surrounded by assholes.
The King hires Lone Star, played by Bill Pullman, a broke space mercenary with a Winnebago, and his Chewbacca-like sidekick Barf to rescue her. Said sidekick Barf, John Candy, is a Mog, half man, half dog. He's his own best friend. The gang goes on a rescue. Okay, what were you gonna say?
I said the tail has a mind of its own.
Tail has a mind of its own. They said that, so the ears and the tail were remote controlled, obviously, by the special effects team. And Mel Brooks had them moving the ears around so much, they told him he had to stop because it just didn't look realistic anymore. He just wanted them to keep moving the ears around. The gang goes on a rescue mission because they need the space bucks to pay back local gangster Pizza the Hut.
Pizza?
No.
Orders out of you.
Pizza's going to order out. You.
Scroob's
evil plan. Scroob's evil plan: steal Druidia's air by kidnapping Vespa and demanding the combination to the planet's air shield. Why didn't anybody tell me my ass was so big?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Next, we learn about the lack of bleep, sweeps, and creeps. The what? And the what? You know, the bleeps. Boop, 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 boop. The sweeps. And the creeps. Boop, 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 boop.
That's not all he's lost.
Ludicrous Speed is next. And they've gone to Plaid. They overshot us by a week and a half. To escape Helmet's clutches, the heroes crash land on a desert planet that's one copyright lawsuit away from being Tatooine. Giant luggage is easier to carry once you expel the industrial strength hairdryer.
My industrial strength hairdryer, and I can't live without it.
See, I told you, Slider. Oh, yeah, I could carry like 3 or 4 of these now.
You said one more dude, 3 dudes ago.
Nice dissolve.
Was that a knock on all of Lucas's wipes? His
the nice dissolve,
all the transitions. Yeah. All the transitions in Star Wars were wipes. So
he did a lot of those wipes because it gave it more like that sort of comic booky feel, I think. And yeah, I think it was kind of like a joke on that. They meet Yogurt, again played by Mel Brooks, a wise short sage who sells merchandise where the real money from the movie is made, and teaches the power of the Schwartz. Schwartz equals force, but there's an upside and a downside, you see, because there's two sides to every Schwartz. Yogurt gives Lone Star a ring and some life advice, basically making him a discount Jedi with better one-liners. Barf gets his foot smashed flatter than the Coyote in a Roadrunner cartoon. Dark Helmet uses a VHS copy of Spaceballs to find out what happens next, breaking the fourth wall so hard it files a restraining order. When will then be now?
Soon.
Comb the desert, but they ain't found shit. Eventually, Dark Helmet uses the old pretending to be Vespa's father trick to draw her out and abduct her. No, sir, I didn't see you playing with your dolls again, sir. Give us the combination or we'll give your daughter back her old nose. Spoiler, the code is 12345, aka the same combo as an idiot. I mean, President Scroob's luggage. Classic. The Spaceballs transforms their ship into Mega Maid, a giant vacuum cleaner ready to suck the air out of Druidia. It's very subtle.
Suck.
Sir, she's going from suck to blow. Lone Star goes full hero mode, infiltrating the ship, battling Helmet in a Schwartz-off, where we find out the big twist. That Helmet is Lone Star's father's brother's cousin's former roommate.
What does that make then?
Absolutely nothing. A self-destruct sequence is triggered because that's all good space stories climax. Get back here, you fat bearded bitch.
Fuck, even in the future, nothing works.
Nothing works. One of my favorite, underrated lines of the film is when the bearded lady escapes in the ship. And he's like, "Get back here, you fat bearded bitch." And yeah, so everybody bails in time except for the bad guys who have one last chance to hit the cancellation button, which is out of order because fuck, even in the future, nothing works. They are blasted into space with the head of Mega Maid. The villains land on a planet run by apes because Mel Brooks isn't done roasting sci-fi yet. Oh shit, there goes the planet. Cut to a space diner, a cameo from John Hurt, and a show-stopping performance from the cutest chest burster ever.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling. Hello, my
girl. And I love that the whole John Hurt. Oh no, not again. I said, he's feeling around at all the trees. And he says, I think we own Pluto. And I said, how do you know that? And he said, because of the bark, you dummy. Because of the bark. The hell with the water. Get this man some Pepto-Bismol. Lone Star learns he's royally. What's that say, Mike?
I think I've changed mine to the soup.
Good move. Space special or space soup. Lone Star learns he's royalty and promptly proposes to Vespa because plot convenience is a beautiful thing. Roll credits, buy some merchandise, and remember, Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, may be on the way. Going to be written and starring Josh Gad. So that was my synopsis. I think I did pretty good at getting everything in there, including some of the stuff I forgot. Did I miss anything? Mike's falling asleep.
No, I'm not falling asleep. No, I think you got everything.
Mike's got nothing to keep him awake. There's no NFL draft tonight.
I know. His phone's not chirping left and right.
I can make you feel better, Mike. Dun, 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 dun.
So, you know what? I did see him last week. He put himself aside, made a phone call. Next thing you know, Deion Sanders is getting picked up by,
Was Mike going to make the prank call to Shadir Sanders?
Mike was making the prank calls too. Is your refrigerator running? Well, you're not getting on my team.
I know this is a real digression, Mike, but this was my favorite draft in a really long time, just because I enjoyed watching Shadir Sanders drop around. Where Deion Sanders is like, I'm guaranteed he's going to be picked in the top 5, and then somebody in the comments wrote, "Yeah, top 5 rounds."
I like that set where he said that he wasn't gonna, he wasn't gonna let set him play for Cleveland.
Yeah, right. And then he got drafted by Cleveland, who already drafted a quarterback before him. Anyway, back to Spaceballs. The next thing we have here is some trivia tidbits about Mel Brooks Spaceballs. So I got a list here from crack.com, 15 fun trivia facts. So if anybody wants to take that first one there, number 15, feel free to.
Oh, I don't have it left.
I have it up. It's sorry, I did have it up. There we go. It was originally called The Planet Moron. Oh, I think Spaceballs was so much better. Before hitting on the whole Spaceballs concept, Brooks' original title for his Star Wars spoof was the somewhat less inspired The Planet Moron. The name was eventually changed in order to avoid any confusion with the 1985 UK comedy Morons from Outer Space. I can't believe we missed that one. In which a trio of moronic aliens crash land on Earth and become celebrities. Wasn't that Earth Girls Are Easy? Wasn't that the one that we had?
It's kind of similar, I think. Like Earth Girls Are Easy came out a few years later, but it's like kind of a similar concept. Like three aliens land on Earth. Yeah.
I don't know why Mel Brooks didn't just go with Blue Harvest.
Yeah, right. Been good. Well, Family Guy took that a few years, many years later. So, Mel Brooks made a deal with George Lucas. No merchandising. Brooks sought Star Wars creator George Lucas's approval before making the film, and Lucas was oddly cool with the parody. But he had one condition for Brooks: there could be no Spaceballs merchandise. According to Brooks, Lucas told him, "You can't do merchandising. You can't actually have, a Dark Helmet action figure because they look too much like ours." And that's where the whole merchandising parody comes from in the film.
You know what you did forget?
What?
Spaceballs, the flamethrower.
The flamethrower.
The
kids love this one. That is going to be coming up on our quote section. Some of the fake Spaceballs products were just repurposed Transformers merch. You can see it in the background. Like there's like a lunchbox. It's got like Optimus Prime on it. There's a novelization written by R.L. Stine. Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah. I wonder how that goes.
I'll do number 11.
Go ahead, do number
The
11.
wanted Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise to play Lone Star. I see two careers going in very different directions.
I see a much different movie. I see Tom Cruise taking it way too seriously and having to include a scene of him running. And Tom Hanks, I don't know about Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks probably could have done it.
He would have done okay, but I don't think he would have had the career he had today with this.
No, and I don't think, like, as funny as he can be, I don't know if this is really in his wheelhouse.
He would have been standing in Area 51 saying, "Today is our independence."
What do you think? And you think Bill would have been doing Forrest Gump?
Bill Pullman would have been in Philadelphia.
And doing Forrest Gump.
Yeah, right. Number 10 there, Mike. Can you take that one for me?
Don't have it loaded.
Oh, never mind.
Because if Pullman I load it, I'll crash.
Okay. Pullman didn't see Star Wars before making Spaceballs.
What?
How did the man not see Star Wars? Like, he was alive when Star Wars came out. He's probably a teenager when Star Wars came out.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know, the only people who really haven't seen Star Wars are the people in Star Wars. And that's because they lived the Star Wars.
I was there. I don't need to watch it. I was there.
No, How I Met Your Mother fans out there? That's a line from How I Met Your Mother.
That was number 10, right? Number 9. Brooks nearly
take
died.
That one there for the screen just froze on me. Go ahead, what'd you say?
Brooks nearly died because of the yogurt makeup. I'm guessing this is a very Wizard of Oz kind of thing. The makeup gave Brooks a life-threatening rash, just like it did for the Tin Man. Even though he was told it was non-toxic. So he says, "I'm supposed to chalk it up to show business, but I nearly died."
Well, it was only non-toxic as long as you're not a Jew.
John Hurt agreed to make. Oh my God! John Hurt agreed to make a cameo because of the Elephant Man. Elephant Man was produced by Mel Brooks.
Yes.
How was it? I did not know that.
He did not include his name on the credits because he didn't want people thinking it was a comedy.
Okay.
But it was produced by Brooks Films.
How about that?
Yeah. You take the next one, Kev. My screen's freezing on me.
There's a terrible animated sequel series. When did this come out? Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money, never got made, but we had the follow-up cartoon in the form of Spaceballs, the animated series, which was aggressively bad. Oh, now I need to watch it. Now
I remember the
how bad it
series.
is. I need to see it.
I remember the series. It was like it was like one of those after school cartoon things. Remember, like we talked about this before, how like in the 80s, all these movies were made into cartoons that should have been cartoons.
Rocky.
So there's Rocky, RoboCop. There was Spaceballs. There was a Police Academy cartoon. So there's all these like cartoons that were made out of these like somewhat adult products.
Yes.
So I remember. I never watched the cartoon, but I remember it.
I still don't remember Spaceballs. All the others, yeah. Spaceballs never came up.
Spaceballs billboard was rediscovered in 2018 in Toronto. It was like
I see. Okay, because
it was like under another one.
It was underneath something else. How about that? Check that out.
Here
We
you go.
were robbed of Spaceballs Legos. His screen is frozen, and if he looks somewhere else, it's not up. He'll crash. Okay.
No, I'm not telling him to read it. I'm just saying I think he would like this fact because Mike's a Lego guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mike, we were robbed of a Spaceballs Lego set, man.
Well, he couldn't merchandise, so
that's right.
Well,
merchandising.
Fans submitted plans for Spaceball Lego to the set to the company's ideas page. Received a minimum. Received a minimum of 10,000 votes required to warrant the company's consideration. They opted not to mass produce any Spaceballs merch, possibly out of respect for Brooks's promise to Lucas. But it's a really cool picture of the Winnebago.
King Roland's castle was on actual currency. The castle used for Druidia is Neuschwanstein Castle in southern Bavaria.
Yep.
And is on the €2 coin. Mike, you know this one. The They Ain't Found Shit guy is the future Star Trek star.
Yes, he was.
That's Tuvok.
He's Tuvok on Voyager. Rick Moranis improvised the doll scene and had a fever when he was doing it.
Oh.
Your helmet is so big.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
And ironically enough, since he almost died from the makeup, when they meet Yogurt for the first time, it's an homage to Wizard of Oz and was filmed on the same soundstage as the Wizard of Oz.
Check that out.
Okay.
All right. So this article keeps freezing on me, so thank God we're done with it. And time to pull up the next one, which is favorite quotes from the film. I don't know if we even need this or not, because I think we all know all the quotes from the film.
Honestly,
I think we said most of them.
Most of the quotes.
Yes. So number 30 on the list. What happened to then? Then is now. Now is then. When will then be now? Soon. How about? Are we being too literal, sir? No, he said comb the desert. We're combing the desert. What did you guys find?
We ain't found shit.
Oh, shit.
I don't know why they started this one out. It's Mega Maid, sir. She's gone from suck to blow.
Yeah, why did they
don't know. It's not
edit the word suck. They left blow in there, but they edited suck. I always have a coffee when I watch Radar. You know that. I know that, sir. You all know that. We know that, sir.
Yeah, well,
I got to give a little shout out to Bad Movies Rule podcast. Every time they have to do like they have to discuss like an expo dump in one of their movie reviews, they always play a clip of Dark Helmet going, "Everybody got that?" And I'm jealous that I didn't get to that soundbite first. Because I think that's a funny soundbite. What's the matter, Colonel Sanders? Chicken? I already said this. The opening crawl. Yeah. You can read this. You don't need glasses.
I can't breathe in this thing. Which is funny because the actual Darth Vader suit was supposed to help him breathe.
Yeah. I don't have that thing down in front of me. How do I know you're not making faces at me behind that thing?
Love this one. You idiots. These are not them. You've captured their stunt doubles. And Princess Vespa is literally a dude with 5 o'clock shadow and a cigar hanging out of his mouth.
And he's got the Hitler mustache because Brooks always has to throw a Hitler joke in there.
Yeah.
Ship is too big. If I walked, the movie would be over.
No, Now you see that evil will always triumph because good is dumb.
I'm going to pause it for a second.
The turn and the look. He's like,
we had to take a quick break, and we're back, and we're still talking about some of our favorite quotes. And Kevin brought up one that's not on the list, and it's where they're going onto the ship after they capture Vespa, and the one guard says, "Yavo, Lord Helmet."
Yavo.
Yavo.
And the look that Dark Helmet gives to him just turns and looks at him. Funny.
And that is a parody on the Star Wars of the Imperials being like Nazis or something like that. Here you go, Mike. Spaceballs the T-shirt. Spaceballs the coloring book. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one. And we already did this one too. The bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Boop, boop, boop. Lock 1, lock 2, lock 3, lock Roman.
No more beaming. Oh, what?
Snotty beamed me up twice last night. It was wonderful.
Why is somebody telling me my ass was so big?
Hello, Darlene. I'm Charlene. Hello, Charlene. I'm Darlene. Chew your
gum. Listen, we're not just doing this for the money. We're doing this for a shitload of money. Pizza the Hut got locked in his car and ate himself to death. Here's Pongo's review of Rocky 5,000. God willing, we'll all meet again in Spaceballs 2, the search for more money. What else we got here? Oh, no, not again. Don't make a fuss. I'm just plain yogurt. Yogurt. I hate yogurt, even with strawberries. I'm a Mohawk, half man, half dog. What else we got? Here you go, Kevin. You want to take number 10?
So, at last, we meet for the first time for the last time. That was Bill Pullman, not
Pullman. That was actually Bill Pullman, yeah.
We already covered the brothers' roommate.
We already covered that one. We're at now, sir.
When will then be now?
I want to know who this guy that plays the bishop is, because he's really funny. And I remember as a kid thinking he looks a lot like Archbishop Bevilacqua, who was the
Philadelphia
Archbishop. Excuse me, I'm trying to conduct a wedding here, which has nothing to do with love. Please be quiet. What's your name? Barb. Your full name? Bartholomew.
You getting married?
No, get over there. My hair. Son of
a bitch.
Really good.
That's
for
pretty
girl.
Good for Rambo.
Playing with your dolls again. Schwartz be with you. Listen, on this ship, refer to me as idiot. What else we got here? The combination again. So yeah, I think we covered most of these.
Okay. Number 1 is the top, and I was
number 1 is definitely the best one. I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
I said fire shot across her nose, not of it. Sorry, sir.
Sorry, sir. I'm doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner? I did, sir.
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who's that man? He's an asshole. I know that. What's his name? That is his name. Asshole. Major asshole. And his cousin? He's an asshole too, sir. Private first class asshole. How many assholes are on this ship?
Yeah.
No. We knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Keep firing
assholes. It's such a long joke, but it's so funny. It's just layers upon layers. I still know, for me, my favorite quote in the film is still, fuck, even in the future, nothing works. Oh, God, I love this movie so much. So, moving on here. Here are the taglines for the film. May the farce be with you. It's okay. May the Schwartz be with you, which is actually from the anniversary release of the film. Once upon a time, warp in deep space, the struggle between nice and the rotten goes on. That sucks. And another one for the anniversary re-release, Revenge of the Shtick. So let's talk about recasting it, and I thought it'd be fun tonight to recast it with the Muppets. So you can take a look at my list, see how if you agree with me. I'll explain to you why I chose who I chose. But so I went with Kermit for Lone Star and Piggy for Vespa for obvious reasons.
Oh yeah,
two main characters should be the two main Muppets. For Barf, my wife was like, "Why aren't you using Fozzie for that? Since he's Kermit's best friend." And I was like, "Yeah, but he's a Mog. He's like half dog." So I went with Rolf the dog for the Mog for Barf.
Yep.
For Dot, Janice, because it's the only other female Muppet I can think of. Yogurt, I went with Gonzo so that the dinks could all be chickens. Colonel Sanders, I went with Pepe, the prawn. Dark Helmet, I went with Scooter because I figured he looks a lot like Rick Moranis. And then for Scroob, I decided not to use the same Muppet for two characters. So I went with Fozzie for Scroob. King Roland, I went with Sam the Eagle. And I really love this one. Prince Valium, I did Floyd from Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem just because of the whole, hey, man. The Bishop, I said, let's have two people play the Bishop. This way we could have Waldorf and Statler in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And then the random Spaceball officers would be played, and like Pizza and all that would be played by the Rat, Rizzo the Rat, and his rat friends. It's supposed to say Rizzo. I don't know why it says Pizza. And then for the diner scene, I threw in Bunsen and Beaker for the oh no, not again scene. Like we could have the alien popping out of Beaker's stomach. And then I forgot to do the Pizza the Hut and Vinny, but I think for Pizza the Hut I was going to do the Swedish Chef. So how do you think? You like my casting? You guys have any opinions?
I don't think I'd make any changes.
I still like Gonzo's Dark Helmet.
I think it's makes sense because it's the two characters. But and who would you do for Yogurt? Would you use Gonzo again?
No.
Or would that be like Fozzie?
No, I like Fozzie where he is. Maybe I would use somebody like just to make it funnier.
Mm-hmm.
If I have someone short, make it Sweetums.
Sweetums. Have him walking around on his knees like Mel Brooks does. I was trying to think of like, is there like somewhere where I could put like a human character in here somewhere? And I thought maybe just like keeping the Bishop, but I wanted to have Waldorf and Statler in there somewhere. So it's my Spaceballs recasting. Is there anything else that we want to say about the film? Because I feel like we covered a lot here, and we definitely got all the quotes in.
And it's not the first time we've covered it. We've covered it way back when on our Mel Brooks episode.
Yeah, we did back in the first season. It was our first look at the career of a director. We did the career of Mel Brooks. And so we talked about Spaceballs all the way back then, yeah. Before we get to the beer trivia, so I don't forget, how were our drinks this evening?
Delicious. It's the temperature is now reflecting margarita season, so it kind of worked.
Mine's like I said, after drinking enough of it, you forget that you're drinking it because you can't taste anything anymore. So I'm not sure if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I hope I do. I got to work, but
the Sprite, ginger ale, whatever it was, help a little bit.
I mean, it cut it a little bit. I don't know if it cut the alcohol content down, but it did cut the taste a little bit. I'm only feeling slightly buzzed right now, so I'm not falling out of my chair yet.
Yeah.
And Mike, you had the IPA from Cape May, right?
I had to finish them all.
Sound disappointed.
It doesn't have anymore.
Well, I'm not a big IPA guy, so you know.
Yeah. Do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening, sir?
I do. In many people, beer simulates gastric acid secretion, which means excessive and prolonged drinking can result in heartburn. Beer itself is also slightly acidic with a typical pH range of 4.1 to 4.5. Sour beer styles such as Lambic and Berliner Weiss, of course, of course, have a lower pH.
How many beers did you have, Mike?
2.
Yeah, but it's been a rough week, so you know.
We have a cinema quote of the week.
Every country gets the circus it deserves. Spain gets bullfights. Italy gets the church. America, Hollywood. That's from Erica John.
I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to get in trouble.
I wanted to say it too.
I had a couple comments I wanted to make.
A couple comments going for that one, but I bit my tongue.
I try to keep the politics out of the show. Anybody not sure who Erica Young is? She's an author and satirist, probably best known for a novel called The Fear of Flying. Thanks again for joining us tonight for episode 193, Spaceballs. The Spaceballs. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can drop us an email from fermentation@gmail.com. Visit fermentation.com/fermentation. Find all our social media podcast links. You can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on Rumble, or you can watch us on the Pod Nation Media Network on Roku. Or you can subscribe to our Substack newsletter, Films and Fermentation Substack, or follow us on patreon.com/Films and Fermentation, or text us at 904-867-4466. Join us next time around at the crossroads between pickled and fermented. For episode 194, we're calling this one Cinema, Sips, and Sentience, AI in Film. We like to make a lot of jokes about the rise of AI and stuff like that. And this was one of Kevin's.
Dave.
This was Kevin's idea. So we're going to do a little ranker episode where we're going to go to ranker.com and look at some of the movies that are listed there as the best movies about AI and do some voting up and down in that episode there, which we enjoy doing from time to time. Once again, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
This has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. May the Schwartz be with you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.